A very warm welcome to the post-race press conference after the FIA Formula One British Grand Prix. We're going to be joined by Lewis Hamilton shortly, but with us we have second place George Russell and the man who won the 9th race of his Formula One career and Ferrari's 250th in Formula One, our winner Charles Leclerc. Very well done, Charles. Brilliant race. And it had been a while, 624 days. What does this one mean to you?
It means a lot. It means a lot because when things get tough, and that's literally the situation I've been in the last few races. Obviously, there's a lot of negativity around me in general with narratives being created, and it's never a nice environment to work in, but to keep our head down and to keep working very hard and get the result that we got today. I'm super proud of the whole team that have been pushing me and helping me to find that feeling again with the car. As I said, it's only a first step, and I've got to prove that on multiple track layouts, but on such a track where confidence is key, I wouldn't have been able to do that without the feeling, and so yeah, that's really good.
And of course, this makes up for what happened here in 2021 as well, when you led for most of the race.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that when I was in the car, but yeah, I don't know if it make up for it, but yeah, it feels very good.
Now, you took the lead at the start of the race and never looked back. Just talk us through those early stages, if you could.
Yeah, I mean, we had a very, very strong start, which wasn't a given because yesterday the start was very poor. So that was a point of focus. And after that, I just try and manage my tires, focus on the feeling I had with the car from qualifying. I knew what to do inside the car. I knew what to change in terms of tools that I have on my steering wheel. And yeah, I just felt very comfortable in the car, especially in the first stint. So yeah, then I understood that the win was a possibility. It was going to be tricky with Kimi at the end, so we've been a little bit lucky on that, but we also need that sometimes.
Well, you do, and Ferrari have now won 2 of the last 3 races. Do you feel you have a car now where you can take the fight to the Mercedes at every race?
Well, I think it's too early to say. I think this weekend was a particularly big surprise for the whole team. Not the win today, just the overall performance. I mean, we were a lot faster than what we thought, and I think as much as we need to analyze when things are going a lot worse than expected, we also need to analyze when things go a lot better than expected. And yeah, coming into the weekend, I remember the meetings that we've done on the Thursday, and we kind of thought we'll be 6 tenths, 5 tenths off minimum, and yeah, and we were much better than that, and we actually winning today. So yeah, it's a very special feeling.
All right, very well done to you. Thank you, Charles. George, let's come to you. That looked like an emotional roller coaster for you out there. Your first podium here at Silverstone. Just how sweet was the end result?
I don't really know how to sum it up, to be honest, because it's been a very challenging weekend. You know, things within my control not good enough, things outside of my control haven't been good enough, which just all resulted in poor pace. And then in the race, you know, I was having a great battle with Max and Lewis, you know, going against 2 of the greatest of all time, and I felt I could have passed Max, and with the straight line speed over the Ferraris, I felt I could have held off Lewis as well. So P3 was probably a fair and would have been a good result behind Charles and Kimi. Then the puncher, I just couldn't believe my luck. I've gone beyond sort of anger and frustration now. And then if you told me I'm going to end up P2, I wouldn't have even comprehended how that was possible. So I'm very, very grateful to have stood up on the podium.
And in terms of the feeling that you've got from the car this weekend, better or worse than Austria last week?
The feeling was good, but the lap times were slow. And as I said, there were things outside of my control that contributed a lot towards that, and things in my control. And still struggling to understand this car. I probably still leave this weekend albeit extremely grateful to stand on the podium, I leave less satisfied than probably Canada when I broke down from the lead. And if I want to fight for the championship, the performances need to be better. You know, I need to be better. I need to be working better with my team. We need to be maximising everything. We've got a close fight now with Ferrari. So it's not just Kimi and I. Lewis is still very close. It needs to be improved.
You say it's a close fight in the championship. Just how seriously do you take the threat from Ferrari now?
I'm not even thinking about it, to be honest, because I've got my own things I need to deal with and improve upon. But on my own side, you know, I left Monaco 3 races ago, 68 points behind, and I leave here 25 points behind. So, yeah, I would take it. But it won't continue like that forever unless the performance gets better.
Okay, George, thank you for that. And Lewis, let's come to you now. Your 16th podium here at Silverstone. It's an extraordinary record. How do you reflect on the race, though?
Yeah, not that great. Charles did a mega job today. Fully deserves the win. Yeah, from my side, pretty bad from the get-go. I jumped the start, which I have done very few times in the 380 odd races that I've done, and then just balance wise, I noticed Charles went up on his balance. I think compared to qualifying, added more wing, and I felt the car was really oversteery with the diff settings that we had, and so I took out wing, and then I had the biggest understeer at the beginning of the race. So he just pulled away from me. I just couldn't even turn the car. So until halfway kind of through that first stint, I managed to start turning the car a little bit better with some diff changes, but by then the gap was already huge, and then the 5 second at the stop, and it's just one thing after the other.
As you say, it's very unlike you to jump the start. What actually happened as the lights were going up?
I just yeah, my hand just moved, just moved just like that, and then I don't really know where it went. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't even tell my hand to do it. But anyways, it happens.
Look, just at the end with the safety car, the yellow flag. What can you tell us about that? Or just what happened when the safety car came?
I literally just got past Max, so I come through turn 9, and I was literally staring in the mirror because I was thinking he's going to come in, a bit like George coming back past me, and that's where I was looking, and I didn't see the flag. So that's why later on, if you hear the radio, later on I asked if there was a yellow flag because I didn't see one. Yeah, that was it.
Look, clearly you're frustrated. We understand that. But what positives do you take from the weekend here at Silverstone in terms of your pace, Ferrari's pace?
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to see that the pace that we've had this weekend at this sort of circuit, we definitely didn't anticipate it, and so just phenomenal to get to be strong all weekend as a team, and to come away with really good points is really, really special, and a big, huge thanks to the team.
Lewis, thank you very much for that. Right, let's open this to the floor, please. Name and publication. Yep, let's start with Luke.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Charles, a question for you to your right. You talked about the narratives that you felt have been there in the past couple of weeks. Could you talk a little bit about that, and how do you handle that? Does it become fuel for you to kind of prove things wrong? Carlos in the pen said he's always admired your bounce back ability and how you do sort of respond to setbacks in this way.
Well, I don't know if it fuels me, honestly. I think anybody that says that would lie. I think whenever there's so much negativity around, it's not something so nice to see. So no, I mean, you try to cancel the noise as much as possible. I try to not look at my phone and focus on what is relevant, and in order to also have the right picture of the situation, because things are said, and you go from hero to zero, from zero to hero in like 2 days in this sport, and so it's it can influence then the way you see a situation. So no, my job was really to just try and cancel that noise, to not look at anything, to not listen anything, and to just I know that I didn't become a bad driver from one day to the other. It was just a matter of finding that feeling with the car. These cars are very specific, are very different to, I think, the way we've been driving since we started racing, and so it takes a bit more time to get used to it. I was very strong for the first part of the season, then I lost a bit of feeling with the car. We changed quite a few things with the car, and it took a bit more time than what I had wished to get back to the level I wanted. And on top of that, we've had some issues on the Sunday that costed me quite a lot of points. So altogether, it wasn't a nice situation to be in, but I'm very happy to get out of this situation in this way. However, as I said, it's still the beginning. It's only one race, and I must not get carried away thinking that the war is over. I mean, the battle with this car have been quite a lot recently, and I cannot take it for granted that now it's behind me. So I'll keep working and try to get that feeling more often going ahead.
Thank you, Charles. Next.
Ed Harley from Autosport. Question for George. Start the season, you had quite a lot of bad luck, and it all combined to give Kimi quite a big points advantage. But after his retirement in Barcelona and now the issue he had here, would you say things have balanced out between the pair of you?
Whether the luck is balanced out or not, I'm not sure. However, based on my performances and based on his performances over the course of these 9 races, I think probably a 25-point gap is in his favour is probably correct. You know, he has done a better job than me this year to this point. So he deserves to be ahead of me, whether it should be 25 points, whether it should be 10 points, whether it should be 35 points is a debate. But in that ballpark between, you know, I obviously lost 15 points as well in Monaco with the drive-through penalty. I think anywhere from 10 to 30 points behind is probably about fair.
Thank you, George. Next.
Graham Harris, Motorsport Monday. Question for Lewis. Do you regret taking the pit stop and getting the tyres just before with the safety car? Do you think you should have stayed out, kept second?
What difference does it make?
3 points. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I mean, the team asked me to stop. I assumed in stopping that we would be holding position. If they had told me you're stopping and you're losing position, I wouldn't have done it.
Okay. Next.
Phil Duncan, PA. I guess this question's to Lewis and George as the British drivers, but obviously the race finished behind the safety car. There was quite a bad reaction from the crowd, quite a few boos. It looked as though we were going to get the race going, and then we didn't. So how disappointing, I guess, was that from your perspective, and I guess particularly from you, Lewis, as you mentioned there, that you put on the new tyres to hopefully have a good restart?
I mean, of course, it's a shame for any race to finish under the safety car. And then you go back to Abu Dhabi 21. And that is just how racing goes. You know, nobody can plan for somebody to have an incident. And the way the F1 deal with it and FIA deal with it shouldn't be any different at the end of the race compared to the start of the race. And obviously, there was a lot of chat post Abu Dhabi 21. If you actually look at the number of races that have finished under the safety car over the past 20 years, it's not actually a lot. So as I said, it is a shame, but what can you do? I don't think it should be different.
Lewis, please. Your thoughts on the race ending behind the safety car?
Yeah, same as George said. Not great. Not really much more to add.
Okay. Next, please.
Dan Wilson from Global. Question to Lewis. Lewis, you're 32 points behind with Kimi now in the championship. Mercedes have had some bad luck, some reliability issues. Ferrari have actually had very good reliability. How impressed have you been both with that and actually the way that Ferrari seem to be executing races at the moment?
Massively impressed. Massively impressed. I think we came into the season knowing that we needed to level up in our processes and just how we executed on race weekends, and that's something that we were pushing for last year, and then the teams really every single individual brings so much to the table and is bringing the best to the table, and the guys in the garage work so hard for the pit stops. We've got great pit stops, and then everyone back at the factories works so hard to bring this consistency, and that's really what I think ultimately is going to make the difference this year. You're seeing Mercedes engines in general have had more issues this year than they normally would have, and I don't know what the situation with on the battery side it is for George and for Kimi, but I'm sure that at some point there must be a penalty, I would imagine. In the sense that we only have, was it 2 battery cells or something like that? Yeah. So, but that's going to be key for us, is just holding on to these maximizing the points, executing to the best of our ability, even when it's the case that we can't win.
Okay, thanks. Well, quick, we can get a couple more in.
David Puy for l'équipe. A question for Charles. Charles, how is it possible, here on your right, how is it possible for things to change so much on a car? Yesterday you've talked about philosophical matters on your car, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't know that philosophy can make a car go any faster.
Yeah, I mean, when I say philosophical, it's more about. It's small details that just fits my driving a little bit better in a particular phase of the corner, and I don't want to go too much into detail there, but it's just few things that I saw on the data on Friday night, and I was like, okay, that might be things that just don't fit with my driving style, and we changed those few things from sprint race to qualifying, and that was a lot better. So yeah. I was very proud of the work we've done to see that, because I think this kind of changes is not really so black and white. You just don't look at data and say, oh my God, okay, this is what we need to change. It's intuition mixed with feeling, and yeah, and then we went for it, and it was actually a very successful direction for me. So I was very happy.
Thank you, Charles. Let's do one more.
Louis Ballard, Sporting Life. Question for Lewis and Charles. Does this weekend give you confidence that you'll be able to fight for the win in Spa in 2 weeks' time, given the worries you've had for Ferrari coming into this weekend?
Well, personally, I don't really focus on that. I think where I'll be focusing on is just to try and get that feeling again in the car. If I have that feeling in the car, I'm confident that I will extract the maximum out of this car. If I don't, then it might be more tricky. So, but then the overall result, of course, we are pushing extremely hard as a team in order to fight and challenge Mercedes. We were expecting a very difficult weekend here in Silverstone. I think prior to this weekend, we were expecting even more of a difficult weekend in Spa. Considering we obviously won today, maybe we are a bit closer than what we initially thought, but it's still to be proven. So, and for that, we also need to understand why was it an outstandingly good weekend compared to our expectations. So we'll focus on all that, but personally, I won't be focusing on just winning, because that will be the wrong approach. I'll just focus on the process in order to get the best feeling and to maximize this car.
Spa.
Spa, yeah. I mean, up until now, we really have been making such great progress. And what gives me confidence is, I've coming into this weekend, the simulator said that we should start in a much different place with the setup, and I and my engineers decided to stay with one in the direction that we would normally go. Charles started where the sim would say to go, and then ended up. My philosophy in the direction that I was taking was ultimately the right one, and he migrated that way. And it's good to see that direction that I have pushed for is paying off, and that we just got to continue to make changes and continue to push. We've got to continue to bring upgrades. Spa is going to be long straights, but and ultimately I've got to do a better job than I did this weekend.
Lewis, thank you very much. Thanks to all.
Yeah, we'll watch the post-race press conference today after a British Grand Prix. It was a late night press conference. Somehow also we didn't know the reason why that is this kind of late night. Also, as you know, also yesterday was after a qualifying press conference, this kind of late for somehow, as I said, we didn't know the exact reason. Let's hope for the Spa to not have this kind of delay for the press conferences. And as we watched the video, we had at the press conference Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, that they finished somehow luckily at the second position. And we are going to start with some keynotes that I have for the Charles Leclerc, for the first part of the press conference, actually, with the Charles Leclerc, George Russell and the Lewis Hamilton. The main words, the main key things that they said at the press conference. And as we know, until now, Charles Leclerc was with a huge pressure from the Ferrari fans and from the Ferrari world, and today it was for him huge release of the pressure for him, because coming into the Silverstone, as I said, Leclerc had begun struggling badly for the consistency over the last few races. Even he admitted recently that he was searching everywhere for answer, setup changes, driving style adjustments, basically trying everything to get comfortable with the car again. But Silverstone changed that completely. During the press conference, Leclerc explained that for the first time in a while, the Ferrari finally gave him confidence through the fast corners. And as we know, at the Spa we are going to have a lot of fast corners and very long straights. And of course, at the Spa maybe we will see the huge disaster of Formula 1 after 2 weeks at the Spa with the long straights. Definitely the cars will be out of energy like that we had in Silverstone, but let's hope to not to have something like that, or to not to see collapsing of 2026 regulations at the Spa with the super clipping and the other stupid things that we have this season in the 2026. And according to Leclerc, Ferrari finally found the direction that works. He admitted there had been so much work behind the scenes to recover the feeling inside the car again, and you could tell this victory meant a lot more than just points. He also talked about the tire management becoming difficult near the end of the race after the safety car Perez completely changed the strategy expectations. Originally, the most teams planned one-stop race, but the late neutralizations forced everybody into the reacting differently, and Ferrari managed it perfectly. And also, as we know, George Russell was in a high pressure with Kimi Antonelli. He was struggling a lot of races, last couple of races he was struggling a lot, and Kimi Antonelli was absolutely dominating him. And of course, with the help of the luck, just Kimi Antonelli had his error with this car, and with thanks to the Mylander with the safety car, he didn't manage to have a fight with Lewis Hamilton and to lost the second position to the Lewis Hamilton, because as you know the race finished under the safety car, and I think it was also a stupid thing about the race today that we have. And like Russell said, actually clear Mercedes believe that still have the strongest overall package on the grid, he said. And looking if you look honestly at the Antonelli's pace before the problems, it's hard to disagree. Russell admitted that the race became chaotic after the late safety cars and the strategy changes, but he stayed calm throughout the race and maximized the result while others struggled with the tire choices. And the Mercedes genuinely believes that this championship is still under control despite Ferrari suddenly improving again. And Russell also made it clear that Mercedes expected Ferrari to become more competitive at Silverstone after beginning upgrades. And also that is another important point inside the paddock. People are now fully taking Ferrari seriously again. And of course, if you have watched the race, at the end of the race, George Russell just said at the radio that the straight line speed, it wasn't good, but immediately Toto Wolff just slumped to his face that the car was very good. And after that message of Toto Wolff, we didn't have any answer actually from the George Russell. As we know, he is always complaining about the something with this car, but at the end of the day, I think it was a good day for the George Russell, and somehow he performed very good. And as I said, luckily he finished at the second position. And also we had Lewis Hamilton at the press conference, and of course he was a little bit emotional. The Silverstone crowd was behind him all the weekend, and after sprint pole plus a podium finish in the red at his home race, the atmosphere around Ferrari felt completely different compared to Austria. But Hamilton also admitted Ferrari still has work to do. Like Leclerc said, he said Mercedes still looks stronger overall during longer race stints, and explained Ferrari continuously trying to close the final gap in the consistency and the tire management. Another interesting thing Hamilton talked about was teamwork with Charles Leclerc. Before the race, Hamilton already hinted Ferrari could try strategy games against Mercedes if both cars stayed near the front. And after the race, journalists asked whether the Ferrari's double podium shows the team is finally starting to operate together properly. As we know, as always, we are having stupid strategies from the Ferrari, and I think also today Hamilton's pit stop was unnecessary, but they did it, and also Hamilton avoided creating internal drama completely. Instead, he praised Leclerc's pace and admitted having both Ferrari fighting near the front gives the team much more flexibility strategically. That's a big change compared to earlier this season when Ferrari often looked at confused operationally. Another huge topic during the press conference was the Ferrari versus Mercedes political tension that exploded this weekend after Toto Wolff questioned Ferrari aggressive development pace before the race weekend. Journalists asked the drivers whether Ferrari's victory now sends a message back to Mercedes. Leclerc stayed very calm with his answer. He avoided attacking Toto directly, but basically said Ferrari's improvements come from the hard work and understanding the car much more better, and etc. And also we had a lot of questions from the journalists, and as you know, as always, I'm not going to let's say to give some notes or something like that about the questions of the journalists. This is the end of our video. I think as I said, I hope to not to have these kind of late press conferences after 2 weeks when we are going to arrive at the Spa. Finally, just as always, don't forget to like this video, to comment it, and to subscribe to the channel.